Welcome to the First Word Podcast. I am your host, Edai Reap. Today we have episode 9. So with this episode, man, I wanted to, bring back a little nostalgia, man, especially with everything going on in the sneaker game right now. I felt like this was a good time to circle back to, about 15 years ago when everything was different. So, during the early 2010s, man, the Roshes were killing the game. Do y'all remember when Roshes were selling out? Roshes were the hot shoe. I remember having, I had a few pair of Roshes for sure, especially working at Finish Line. That was the go-to work shoe between Roshes and Prestos. Beautiful. So lightweight, comfortable. Cheap, for real. Then they had the Chuckers, the mid-top joints. They were more, I kind of think they were more like a lifestyle shoe with when I went up to the Chuckers and they had the different materials and everything. But yeah, Roshes had me in the chokehold for real. And they also had the ZX Flux, the Adidas ZX Flux with the tubulars. Back then, it was all about the skinny jeans and the joggers. And you had the ZX Flux with the tubulars. You were doing it big. That's when, everybody was layering their fits. They had the long line or the elongated tees, with the, the scoop hem at the bottom or whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about? 2010s were crazy, man. But yeah, I don't even see any ZX Flux releasing anymore. You can find Roshes randomly at the outlets, but of course they're not dropping anything new. But yeah, the ZX Flux tubulars, the SL loops, you don't see any of those anymore. It's so crazy that most of the shoes you see now are retro, They dropped years ago, or however many years, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they're, spinning the block. And they're still doing pretty well, as of late. A lot of them are sitting, but for the most part, there's still a demand and market for them. But when it comes the Roshes and the tubulars and the Ultra Boost, even the Ultra Boost is they're making them still. You'll find them in the outlets, but it's not a crazy buzz. What was another joint that used to go crazy with Adidas? Oh, the NMDs. NMDs, they were the top of the line shoe to get at one point. They were reselling for crazy numbers. Especially the, which one was it? The all black NMD that had the tricolor stripes on the side. Oh my God. But now you tell somebody about an NMD, if they run around then, they wouldn't even know what you're talking about, man. It's so crazy how the culture and your style or your taste trends during certain time frames. You're not even looking for a ZX Flux or a tubular or NMD or Ultra Boost now. It's wild. And then definitely that's when the influencing started for real, because you had those the outfit grids. Before the Get Ready With Me's, you had the outfit grid. I don't know, man. I don't take pictures anymore. I record everything. But I feel that was a great breakdown of your fit for real. So you have, for those that don't know, you'll post your picture or whatever on Instagram. And then either the slide following that or the slide that was before your actual fit pic, you had that outfit grid where, you had your shirt, jacket, pants, shoes, accessories, all that just lined up or placed in a certain, in the frame, you know what I'm saying? Then you had the breakdown of what brand the shirt was and blah, whatever. The outfit grids were so crazy. There was a page dedicated to outfit grids, on Instagram, and they would repost your stuff. It was beautiful times, man. Beautiful times. It's sad to see now. Well, I mean, let me before I say that, it's there are pros and cons to everything. Cause this episode really, this was not supposed to be episode 9. I recorded a full episode 9, and when I went to edit and the playback or whatever, the audio was so crazy. It sounded like I was possessed. I deleted that junk immediately. I don't know what happened. So I've been testing it out. Hopefully everything is, on the up and up. But I didn't want to redo that episode just because with this podcast, First Word Podcast, I want to keep the, authenticity. Even with my YouTube channel, man, I don't like to fake reactions. People think I go back and record stuff over or whatever. Every video I put out is my raw initial reaction. I unbox stuff on camera so you can see my initial reaction of the shoe. I don't go look at them first and then tape the box back up or whatever. So I wanted to keep that energy with the podcast. So I don't want to talk about the same thing twice, and I won't have the same energy, and I won't have the same like emotional. If that makes sense. I want to keep it like raw, authentic, uncut. You know what I'm saying? So I had to redo this, but this topic, like I was getting to, stemmed from a customer interaction yesterday. The customer, I was ringing him out, whatever, and he was like, "Yo, are Kobe's and like Jordans just not selling anymore?" Because he was like, "Man, I remember back in the day, I couldn't imagine seeing the Aqua 8 sitting on the shelf." And I was like, "You're right. Like this new sneaker generation, man, is different. Like they don't really care about the same stuff that we cared about as like we're old heads now. I guess OGs, whatever you want to call it." So that brings me to my next topic. Like Nike basketball was running the game. Like that was the golden age of Nike basketball, man. The KD 4 through the 6, the LeBron 8 through 11, Kobe 6 through 8. Those were the hot sellers. Like of course, the Mikes, the Jordans. I feel like they're in their own category. Jordans are going to sell regardless. It may not be like a crazy demand for it, but Jordan brand knows, or they wouldn't keep dropping the same colorways and the same silhouettes over and over and over again. They know they're going to sell. At some point, they're going to be gone. So I don't even count Jordan in this particular category because they're a league of their own. But yeah, man, people were rocking Nike basketball shoes casually. So now when you see like the KD4s, I never imagined the KD4s would drop again because those colorways went crazy. Like those were a lot of people like the Urt Pearls. That's not countries on the Urt Pearls. Them Urt Pearls was going crazy back in the day. I never thought I would get my hands on those without having to pay a high ticket. So to be able to get those joints for retail in 2025, or was it 2024? Was it last year? This year? I can't even remember. But for me to be able to get those for retail, bro, I could not even fathom. Especially the scoring titles, the Nerfs, the Galaxy KD4s for retail is so crazy to me. But they're only like they only appeal to a certain demographic, which is the people that were outside copping shoes back then. You know what I'm saying? Like KD4 is still sitting on the shelf like in pretty much every retail store. I can imagine depending on like your area and how many stores you have, but like you can get LeBrons on it. Like the Kobe 6 WNBA joint still sitting on shelves and snipes right now. It might be limited sizes, but you can go in there. You can get the Pure Money 3 just sitting, Aqua 8s. I think the French Blue 12s, a few sizes of those. Of course the Kobe's. So it's like the Rare Air 3s. It's like wow, fathom a time where you would if you would have told me like you can go into the store right now, get 3 to 4 retro shoes for retail, get Kobe's for retail, foam posits sitting on the shelf, I wouldn't believe you. Especially not during the 2010s. That they were going crazy for those joints. People were lined up, camped out faithfully for these releases, and that's when we were still doing the midnight releases. Cause I know when that Galaxy pack dropped, midnight release. So I'm like, okay, let me go for the KDs. Cause I know that's the time LeBron 9s were going crazy. Kobe's were definitely going crazy. So I was like, all right, the KD4s, they're $100 retail. I think that Galaxy pack might have been higher, but I know like the retail for the KD4s at first were $100 because KD wanted to keep them affordable. So I was like, all right, let me try for the lesser popular shoe, which in my head I thought that was, but clearly I was wrong. All of them were equally popular because they sold out immediately. At like 01, they were gone. So I don't even know if they were having bots then. They were just like manual users going crazy. So you see the shift from the basketball to it's more lifestyle now, more runners, designer shoes. Like the 2010s were all about, we were still rocking the basketball kicks casually. Like it was nothing for you to throw on a pair of LeBrons, Kobe's, KDs, throw some khaki cargos on, and whatever your shirt was, a graphic tee or whatever you were rocking at the time, and you'll get money. Niggas rocking cardigans with KDs and Jordans. Like that was the thing back then. Like nobody really. There was kind of like a shift from like the basketball shoes to the runners when like the Yeezys started dropping. So that whole era where, the time where the Yeezys and the Ultra Boost started going crazy. So you kind of went away from the basketball shoes, and that's when the whole runner wave started. But that was 2015, 16 or something like that. So it was a good 5-6 year run where Nike basketball was just taking over. Nike basketball was dominating. Foam posits, Kobe's, LeBron's, KD's, Barkley's going crazy. But I guess, it's just the younger generations coming up. They just know hoop shoes as strictly on court. There's no, I can't rock this with a fit, because like the style, man, you like designer, depending on what designer it is and how it looks. Certain designer fits would look crazy with a pair of LeBrons or like Kobe's on. I'm not gonna lie, it'll look wild. So I understand the shift, because the clothes, whatever you're wearing, it has to make sense. Everything has to tie together. So I think the new wave of the designer clothes and whatever they rocking, they don't hit the same with like the Nike basketball shoes. They're transitioning now. So like, man, I don't know what happened. Like, I want to blame everything on Yeezy, man, because I know for me personally, it was a good 2 years, maybe 3, that I stopped buying Jordans. I was just solely focused on copping Yeezys, because that was a new thing. Like, I wanted something that, everybody couldn't get their hands on. And if y'all were outside, y'all know that Yeezys used to be tough to get. Now people are like trying to give them away for, obvious reasons. Everybody has their own, thoughts and opinions on that. Not getting to all that. But when they first were introduced, when they first dropped, those were, if you got a pair of Yeezys, then like you were doing something, like in the eyes of the community, It's just a material thing at the end of the day. You're not really better than the next person. But for the sake of this argument, for the sake of getting my point across, if you had a pair of Yeezys back in 2015, 16, you were doing something, man. I'd rather try my hand every single Yeezy Saturday opposed to like getting some Jordans. I knew, because getting Jordans were like, at that point I was working in retail, so like a pair of Jordans was so easy to get. It was like, it wasn't fun for me, in the sense of the hunts. It always comes back to the hunt in the sneaker community, man. There was no hunting. I knew, all right, they come in, boom, there's a 12. We have enough sizes, I'll be able to get my pair or whatever. Or if I had to go to another store in the mall, easy money. Like, a lot of this time, the 12 was sitting. Like, I remember going to get the Spitz Ike 6s across the hall from Jimmy Jazz. After the initial release, they had an 8 and a 12 left, so I went over there and got my pair. So saying that to say, it was too easy for me to get Jordans at that time, so I wanted to try something. I wanted a challenge, so I was trying to get every Yeezy I could get my hands on. I failed miserably, but I did get enough pairs to, I felt like, all right, I'm doing something. I'm different right now, you know what I mean? Let me see what else. Oh yeah, the Janowskis had a nice little run. I never really cared for the Janowskis, but it was like another shoe. It fit that time frame, like with the skinny jeans and everything. When the people was rocking the Yeezys, like it made sense for the Janowskis. I know a lot of colors were dropping, a lot of different like materials they had a nice run. I like the shoe. It looked cool, but I know I just wouldn't wear them. Like I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan enough to wear them. It was one of those shoes that you admire from afar, but you would never like put them on. That's how I felt with the Janowskis. The Currys. I cannot talk about the 2010s without mentioning Steph Curry, bro. Wardell, Stephen Curry. Under Armour was selling out like crazy, man. Especially when he started dropping the low top Currys. Oh man, and they were winning too. So like, the low top Currys had some crazy colors, man. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't see myself rocking Under Armour casually. I think that was the only thing that was holding me back. Because, of course, they were coming in the store, and I could get them on a discount. And I seen my fellow employees or peers, or whatever you want to call it, like my coworkers. I think that was the best word to use, coworkers. I don't know why I said everything but coworker. But seeing them rocking them joints, like, they were tough, but I just couldn't picture myself rocking them, for whatever reason. Like, there was a few pairs that I was like, yeah, I would have copped if they were like any other silhouette. That's how crazy the color was. I just couldn't see myself rocking Under Armour casually. I don't know. But he had a crazy run. The 1 and 2 were so wild. He was dropping packs. They were selling out online. I want to say a few of them were reselling at that time. I'm not sure like which particular like colorways, but I know there were a good amount that were definitely going for like $300 to $400. I want to say maybe that's like peak I don't think it was going too crazy. I don't know if anything hit like over 500, but they were up there for sure. Then the Foamposites. The Foamposite run. The rise and fall of Foamposites needs to be studied. I feel like the consensus with the Foamposites, just keep it simple. Whatever the color of the Foamposite material is, and then the new buck, keep it black. Or whatever. 2 solid colors is all you need on the Foamposite. I think when they start doing the Weatherman and the Spider-Man joints, what else? The Asteroid, the Safari joint, they start getting too crazy with it. Like, just do the simple colorways. Because I really think that's when people start really rocking with them. Because I know, like, the classic foams, they were always going crazy. And then they started dropping the slimes, the electro lime joints, the pine green joints, the island green joints. They were definitely one of the favorites. Because people were doing, like, the South Beach twist with those, because it's LeBron South Beach. Had everybody in the chokehold. So if you drop the South Beach colorway, throw those pink laces in there, and then you get money. But then when they start getting crazy with them, that's when people start liking them. I know personally, I was like, yeah, I'm not rocking with these crazy foams. I kept the pairs I had, of course, like the classic joints. But like the Yeezy pack was like the last good wave of foams before they started dying down. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Solar Red with the all red joints, the Red Octobers, I got those. Then they had the black and the was it Zen Gray, I think is the other colorway, and they had the glow in the dark soul. That was like the last, non-OG colorways that actually did some numbers before they ruined it. You know how Nike does. They get a little popularity with something and they run it into the ground. Shit, what else? The Flyknit was going crazy. The Flyknit trainers, I still have a few pair of those. I think Flyknit was, flying off the shelf, man. It was just that time where, there were a lot of options for footwear. It didn't really matter what you were into because like every brand had like their go-to joint, and the resale, I think that's the resale was at an all-time high because everything was popular. Everything was going for something crazy on the aftermarket. I think numbers were probably low as far as allotment for the stores, so yeah, it was easier to everything was selling out because there weren't that many, and then the resellers were taking advantage of that and asking for an insane amount of money for everything. But it was different then. Like, I do miss the 2010s, and but the quality wasn't there. Now when we're getting like the remasters and reimagined and the retros that are true to OG form, like you were getting better shape. I feel like the quality is better. I'm not saying it's the best quality, but most of those retros during the 2010s, the leather was definitely stiff. I know I can tell the difference from like I really touched a lot of pairs during that time, like working in retail. I see them come in shipment, like so like I was buying my own pairs. Like I'm coming from a place of like experience. Like I'm not just guessing or what I see on YouTube. Like I'm talking about I had the pairs in hand. I've wore them like the Grape 5s. The pair I have from 2013 compared to the new retro, which I probably need to go ahead and cop them at some point. The shape and the leather are like night and day. The new ones are so much softer. I'm not sure that soft leather equates to better leather or better quality. I just know they feel better to me on foot than that stiff boot type leather like the 5s were in 2013. But that's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Let me know what y'all think. But give me the more sleek, narrow, silhouette, closer to what Mike wore when they originally dropped. And give me some soft leather, man. I don't care if they crease up. Just give me the soft leather. I don't want that stiff leather. So what pairs do y'all think need a retro from that era? I feel like most of them, they either retroed them already or they plan to in the future, like within a year or two, I want to say. But I can't think of anything that dropped then that I'm waiting on to drop, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think cause all the Yeezys spun the block. You got all the LeBrons and KDs starting to spin the block. I want to say the KD 6s are next. They're not going to drop the 5s, which I understand. I had one pair of KD 5s. I wasn't a big fan. Give me the low top KDs all day, every day. So yeah, the KD 6s dropping again. Of course, all the Kobe's starting to resurface. Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, y'all gotta help me out with this one. What am I missing that dropped during the 2010s that has not retro yet that needs to retro? Yeah, let me know down in the comments or wherever you're seeing this. Maybe you see the clip on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. Let me know. So yeah, that it's just a good time to be a sneakerhead overall, man. Especially if you were a fan of the 2010s, like I am, because all your favorites or the classics are dropping again, and you're able to. You have a fighting chance to get certain shoes that were unattainable when they originally released, because the Jordans and Nike basketball shoes are not really moving like they used to, and the prices are crazy, so people are prioritizing what they're spending their money on, which I totally understand. I'm all for it. And you're also getting a million drops a week, so it's like some stuff, you just gonna have to circle back, or you just not interested in. So as far as OG sneakerheads or like old heads, it's a great time. You can get everything. But yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 9. We're gonna get into this social hour question. Shout out to my dog Matt. You can hit him up or follow him. Hampson_Matt_ on TikTok, IG, and YouTube. Definitely doing this thing out there in Philly. But he asked him, Are you against buying used shoes? I'm all for buying used shoes, man. Especially when, you get a condition that you're comfortable with. I'm all for doing your research, man. There's plenty of options out there depending on what shoe you're looking for and your size, of course. But you have eBay, you have GOAT, you have Macari, Grails. I want to say it might be something I'm missing. But those are the only sites that I look at for used shoes. I know there's probably more, but those are the ones I trust for the most part. Like eBay is number 1. eBay and GOAT probably my top for like used shoes. The rest of them, I get like some like old jerseys or something. But for shoes, definitely eBay and GOAT. eBay more often than GOAT. But yeah, you can just type in whatever shoe you're looking for in size, and there are going to be plenty of pairs. The prices vary from seller to seller, and condition definitely varies. So my rule of thumb is I want the used shoe to be in better condition than my like worst shoe. If that makes sense. Like if I wouldn't wear my shoe to the point that it looks like that, I'm not buying it for somebody else. Because used shoes definitely, they're hit or miss because, hygiene plays an important factor. I know for me anyway, I don't want, a bunch of dirt or, whatever on the ankle collar and the insole, or like pet hair or whatever type of stuff you got going on in your crib. I don't do that, so I'm not going to bring that into my crib. So I want stuff that's like been worn once. Twice, like you went to the movies and you had your foot up, like you've been reclined the whole time. That's the type of condition I'm looking for. I'm not looking for no crazy creasing and paint chipping and all that. That's not the use I'm looking for. I want my joint as soon as I get them and I clean them, like not a deep clean, but like I can use a sneaker wipe and just wipe down the upper and the midsole and they look like a brand new pair. Like I could sell them as a new pair. I'm not saying I would, but that's the type of condition that I look for. So when it comes to stuff like that, yeah, I'm all for used shoes. Everybody's different. I know a lot of people when they get like a grail or something, they feel better buying it used because they're not, it's easier for them to rock it since somebody else already broke the ice. Like a lot of people, they're scared to mess up certain shoes, so they really don't want to wear them because they want to keep them pristine. But when they buy them used, somebody already did the hard work for you, so you can rock them freely. I guess I don't agree with that personally, but hey, it's your money, your purchase. You do what you want with it. So that's your logic. That's your logic. More power to you. No judgment. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. How do y'all feel about used shoes? And a lot of the times, that's the only way. Well, that's the most affordable way to get your grails. You know what I'm saying? Because of course, dead stock pairs are gonna fetch a higher value, or they're gonna go for more money than a used pair naturally. So do what you gotta do, man. But yeah, the 2010s, man, it was a beautiful time, man. It gave us the classics. It's sad to see all these releases sitting that normally wouldn't have during that time frame. But on the same hand, it's easier to cop the older joints that you probably would have missed out on because the hype. So, pros and cons to everything. But if there was an era that, I would live in going forward, definitely the 2010s. Like, Once you stop chasing trends and you just settle down into like your own, your fashion, your style, whatever. 2010s would definitely be mine for sure. Establish my podcast, my channel, my voice first before I start introducing y'all to different characters, man. If y'all listen to me, then y'all will listen to me with somebody else, so that makes sense. But yeah, man, this is the First Word podcast. Buy what you like, wear what you love.